Right, well, my name's Ali Farren. I'm from Marian in County Donegal. I'm the eldest of 8 children. I've been born and reared in Malin all my life and built my family home in Malin in the family farm. Um, so, just like everybody else, we want to stay at the most beautiful place in the world. So, it turns out in 2010, we noticed cracking in our house. And we got it a wee bit repaired. We thought, well, that's it fixed. We got it replastered. And at the moment, my house is now, after being tested for Mica, is now down for, it's at the critical stage. It's the worst bracket of classification you can have for a Mica home. And in fact, people pass my house and think it's a tourist attraction. It's on the Wild Atlantic Way, so it's nearly people can't believe that there's still people living in this house. But we've nowhere else. So what's our options? And I'm not the only person with the same problem. Like within our family, there's 3 of them that have Mica homes. My mother and father's house, which was their retirement house, they built to retire. Their house is down for demolition as well, but they're both 80 years of age. So, they're in a very bad way at the moment from the point of view is that how do they go about getting their house repaired in such a short time that they'll be able to even live in it? Or do we let it crumble around them and hope that they go before the house goes? So it's a terrible predicament. And then I have another sister who is a young family, and they're constantly afraid that something doesn't fall off the house when their young children are out in the house. So, and we're only one family. In another family in our area, there's 7 members of the same family, all got Mica homes. So all the investment that they did on all the years to have houses, which they paid for themselves. They done nothing wrong. They just bought from what we thought was a reputable supplier, and in fact, one of them was the main builder, the main contractor for them. So there's no reason to think that he would cut corners. He built the best house he could for his brothers and sisters, and at the moment there's 7 of them down for demolition. But again, we're not the only ones. Again, within our community, which is a small rural community on the north of Donegal, you can see from this board, I'm the manager in the community centre, and we done an extension in 2000, and we opened a brand new extension to our community hall in 2010, which cost us over 270,000 of our community money. We stopped paying that debt last November, and our building is crumbling as well, which hosts a cafe, it hosts a playground, a play school, and is the hub of our community. Also in the Malhead area, we have a football club, Sea Rovers Football Club, and they built changing rooms and a kind of a small pavilion. That's crumbling with Mica, again, and has got government funding to build it originally. There's any amount of farm buildings has got it. Also on that list there now as well, I think, which should be on the list, is actually one of the local schools has got Mica, and it's not on that list because it's only just, it's come out this week. Holiday homes. 50% of the population of the houses in our area are holiday homes. People who've come into this area from abroad or even from Derry or Belfast and invested in our area. We exist because they come during the summer months. It's very important to keep our businesses open, that they come and they support us. And their houses are crumbling. So as a community, we are nearly crumbling at this stage. We are looking for the support. We're looking for a government to do the right thing. And that's where we're at the moment.
You're also talking about the impact on tourism in the area, which is an even broader area that we need to cover, because we've heard a lot about the humanitarian side of things and also the emotional impact it's had. But you're looking at it financial, you're looking at tourism, you're looking at livelihoods, and not just people living in Donegal. As you said, there's people who plan to have a little place up there and the rentals and whatever. So it's impacting everybody. Why do you think the current government isn't taking action?
Because we're in a very rural, we're far away from the powers be. And although I do believe we elect TDs who go to Dublin to work on our behalf, I honestly think that sometimes the long-term civil servants tell them to sit down and do what you're told when they get there. We do need them to have more guts. We need them to stand up to the people that put them there. And hopefully they are, but time will tell.
So if you get the 100% redress, what does that mean for your community, especially the Malin area?
If we get 100% and costs don't escalate, and it will mean it'll probably save our community in the long term. We need people to want to live in Malinhead, to keep our schools open and go to our youth club, keep our community centres. We need them there to be able to look after our elderly. And at the moment, the way the quality of houses is in this area, nobody's going to return home from abroad to buy a house in this area at the moment because it's not safe. So you could have an older population with nobody to look after them, nobody to mind them. Also, I have two young, well, they're not young, they won't like me saying they're in their 20s, but one of them should stand to inherit my house or our house. And at the moment, it's worthless. It's so if the government could give a proper 100% redress scheme, it would mean a lot to people to be able to sustain our community, I think. Because at the moment, the stage my house is at, it's going to fall. It could end up in a caravan without proper assistance. And maybe to say, I think we could be an island, we could die off because people can't afford it at the moment to stay.
And the impact it's had on you personally as well. It must be quite devastating, like you're a dad, you've got your children, but also you manage the community as well, certain aspects of that. And on a personal level, why did you decide you would speak today? What is it that's driving you?
I try and be positive most times, and I think if we don't, as a community, as people affected, don't speak out, we can't get the story out. Like, I've been to Dublin holding that poster, and people don't know about it. And we think locally everybody should know. Actually, with me yesterday, there was a lady who had bought a house in Malin 20 years ago, and only 6 weeks ago did she find out she had Mica. She had been hoping she had subsidence, she had been hoping that the insurance would cover her, and then when she dug into it, she has Mica just like thousands of other people in this area. So it's important we tell our story. It's important that people are not embarrassed. There's no need. I done nothing wrong. We built with the best blocks, we built with the best local providers that we could get. We invested heavily in our home because it was going to be our forever home. We were building in a location that we were going to die in. So we wanted to build the best house we could. We weren't building one for an investment property to move on. Just like our houses. Our poster calls.
That's it, exactly.
But we invested good money, paid our VATs, paid our PRSIs, paid all our taxes to earn the money, and then paid our builders to build them. We've done nothing wrong with it, and some people are still embarrassed to tell their story. And I sometimes compare this, that if you have a Mica home, it's sometimes like it's like being an alcoholic. Until you admit you have it, you don't have Mica. And lots of people in our community are turning a blind eye to it in the hope that it goes away. And after having it for this last 10 to 11 years, I know it doesn't go away. It only gets worse.
Yeah. And you mentioned something there as well. You have schools, you have sports facilities, you've football club, you've the church, community centre, farm buildings. It's everywhere, really, isn't it? Because it's touched the whole community.
Everything in our community is crumbling as a result of Mica. Outside, you can people drive around our area and they can see. They think first and foremost we have neglected our homes because they don't look like they're well maintained. They don't look like they're being cared for. And it's the farthest from the truth. I painted my house every 2 years at the start. It was something I was very, very proud of. It was done to the best that we could afford at the time. And we probably overspent on it, we've overinvested in it, and now it's crumbling. But how does it make me feel was one of the questions. It gets me angry, but we've got to live as well. I'm 54 years of age, and I see my mother and father getting annoyed about how they have a property that they would like to leave to one of their brothers, or one of my brothers, and it's going to be worthless. It's of no use to them, and they're annoyed that they invested their money in that. And they're probably afraid too that that house could fall while they're still living. And as they get older, maybe be more bedridden or have to stay in the house all the time. In my house, I can hear cracking in the walls. I can hear gravel falling down the cavity at times. There's certain windows in my house I can't open because of the way the building is twisting. Or PVC windows are twisting with them, so some of the windows won't open. If it's extreme rain on one of my rooms, I have roof lights, and because the roof is twisted as a result of the blocks twisting, there's water getting in. So it's very, very hard to remain positive. Although I try. But it's as a family we have to keep each other up. We have to, there has to be a positive here. We have to look at the bright side. But at the moment, bright sides are getting lighter. They're getting like the winter. They're going to be more dark than there is bright, if that makes sense.
It does. And for you now, the 100% is the only answer for this.
I would imagine that originally when they awarded us a 90-10 scheme, I would have been one of the very happy people that could take on a 90-10 scheme. And because we're still working, both of us are working, and we have no daughters. We've no daughters going to college anymore that we possibly could have. But as it turns out, the 90-10 was a farce. It wasn't suitable. In my house, it would have been a 60-40 or a 50-50. And it wasn't an investment I could afford to make to remake again. So I think the government missed their cue there. A few fine lines that could have got us on a 90-10 scheme, and now they've angered so many people that I think 100% is what's needed. But I do think they have a role to play to get our NAMA, for instance. NAMA being our bank, the same as Bank of Ireland and a few others, but NAMA is our bank, and I think they could support Mica home owners and give them an investment without people having to go and look for, a bank loan from our normal bank lenders. I think that the government could really do a lot more for us going forward, but we definitely need 100%.